Here's what just happened and why it matters. Trump just went online and declared Venezuelan airspace closed in its entirety. Now, before you think this is just another headline, here's the part that should make every American sit up. This isn't just a warning. It's tied to military moves that have been building for months. And by the way, Venezuela's military just went on high alert too. Nobody's telling you why, but we will. Stick with me because the real story unfolding piece by piece, and the biggest part doesn't show up until the end. Let's start simple. Trump's message was blunt: stay out of Venezuelan airspace. He didn't hint, he didn't suggest, he declared. But here's where the story gets interesting. This actually lines up with something the FAA, the Aviation Authority, quietly released days ago. The FAA warned that there was GPS jamming in the area. Civilian planes are being tracked. Shoulder-fired missile risk. Mandatory 72-hour flight notices. People don't read FAA notices, but these tell you something big. This danger has been building behind the scenes. Here's the part the mainstream media glosses over. While everyone's been arguing politics, the U.S. military has been extremely busy in the Caribbean. Boats intercepted, trafficking routes disrupted, dozens of suspects killed, operations in both the Caribbean and the Pacific. This didn't just happen overnight. This is months of pressure. 28% of the United States Navy's fleet is deployed in the Caribbean. And most people haven't heard a single word about this. The U.S. sent one of its biggest aircraft carriers, I believe the Gerald Ford, to the region back in August. You don't move a carrier unless you expect something to develop. Let's jump right into this. I've got some clips. You've got to see these. The news media is broken, and we're here to put it back together.
To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, Ankush. He is the president of the United States, not Venezuela. So does he have the legal authority to declare another nation's airspace off limits?
By Truth Social.
No, he doesn't. But I actually think it's a little bit worse than that.
Illegal war. That's what you're hearing right now. An illegal war. This is MS Now. So you take as well as you want to with what they're saying. Let's roll to the next one.
Now we do continue to cover some breaking news that is coming in at this hour to our newsroom. President Trump telling airlines this morning to consider the airspace above Venezuela closed. He posted this right here on Truth Social saying, quote, "To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety." He adds, of course, thank you for your attention to this matter. The president's comments coming about a week after the Federal Aviation Administration, that's the FAA, warned airlines about flying over Venezuela. The FAA issuing a...
So there you go. I confirmed everything. The FAA has been warning people. Trump isn't just announcing a closed airspace. He's announcing where this pressure campaign is headed. And trust me, the next section ties every piece together.
After more than 20 strikes against South American drug boats, President Trump is now making bold comments about what's next for Venezuela.
In recent weeks, you've been working to deter Venezuelan drug traffickers, of which there are many. Of course, there aren't too many coming in by sea anymore, if you probably noticed that. We've almost stopped. It's about 85% stopped by sea. You probably noticed that. People aren't wanting to be delivering by sea. And we'll be starting to stop them by land also.
So you heard that part, by land. This is where the tension really starts to rise. We have put our assets in that area. Maduro has not paid attention. We're now warning people, do not fly over the area. Donald Trump says now by land. This is where everything gets easier for an actual military strike, military invasion. Trump is not messing around. Maduro's government is not sitting back quietly. They have pulled flight permits from 6 major airlines because those airlines stopped flying in due to safety concerns. So that is affecting their economy. Maduro's slamming the door back. He puts his military on high alert. That's not nothing. When a country that's already under pressure jumps to high alert, it means they believe something bigger is coming. I want you to hear this.
Look, the president has said before that land strikes could be next in Venezuela. Yesterday, there were reports, unconfirmed still at this point, that the president and the dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, have already held a call that was last week. He's saying this week, once again, that land strikes are likely in Venezuela. So I imagine that call didn't go particularly well. And the Navy currently has about 30% of its deployed force in the Southern Caribbean. So everything to me, Griff, tells me that we're trending in the direction of seeing land strikes on drug targets in Venezuela rather soon. And I imagine that call yesterday that was reported on, still unconfirmed, between President Trump and Nicolas Maduro didn't go particularly well. And I imagine it's because there's really not much to say.
So he let the cat out of the bag. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, Donald Trump had a phone call with Nicolas Maduro. And here's the kicker. No one is talking about this. No one is saying that Donald Trump reached out and actually spoke to the dictator, that Venezuela rejected the offer, and that's where closing the airspace is coming into play. Who knows what was actually said on that phone call? We don't have Alexander Vindman to leak that information like he did before, but they're reacting to a pattern we're about to lay out. Here's where I talk to you like we're standing in your garage. This story might sound like it's happening far away, but it lands right on our doorstep. Because a lot of the drug pipelines, trafficking networks, and smuggling routes that end up at our border start in this exact region. This isn't just foreign policy. This is why fentanyl floods our towns, why cartels keep slipping through, why our border agents are overwhelmed. Trump's one goal here is obvious. Cut the problem off before it reaches our border. We don't need them here. We don't need the products that they're selling. You might agree with that approach or you might not, but that's the strategy. And once you understand that, everything he's doing makes a whole lot more sense. But here's where things get really interesting. The part that no one is discussing. Let's walk through what happens next. And I want you to stay with me because three scenarios are very different. Number one, quiet pressure works. The U.S. keeps squeezing Venezuela's economy until it gets worse. The government starts cracking internally. This ends without fireworks, but with big changes. The people of Venezuela actually cause it to happen themselves. Scenario two, a misstep sparks a crisis. Maybe someone misreads a radar signal. Maybe a fast-moving boat gets too close to an aircraft carrier. This is how unintended confrontations begin. Number three, a backroom deal calms things down. And it seems like Trump offered Maduro that opportunity by a phone call on Black Friday. But I'm going to tell you this is my honest read. We're currently closest to scenario one. Scenario two is always sitting in the shadows when militaries start circling each other. And that's why Trump's declaration matters a whole lot more than the headline that you're going to see this morning. To wrap this up, here's the bottom line. Trump's airspace declaration didn't just happen out of nowhere. This is the latest move in a months-long strategy to push back on trafficking networks that affect every American community, especially working-class communities like yours and mine. The news media will frame this however they want, but when you look at the timeline, the warnings, the carrier group, and the Venezuela reaction to the phone call, you can see the bigger picture clearly. Now, here's the part I want to hear from you. Do you think this approach is the right move, or does it push things too far? Drop your comments down below. I read every one of them. If you appreciate straight talk without the media noise, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who wants the real story. I'm Ben Dykes, and this is Broken News, where we put back together the shattered narrative that the mainstream media tries to sell you.